Joe reminded me of something, as he often does. He talked about the shootings, and the media only talks about the shootings. We're all shooters. We all go shooting. Shooting is an honorable thing. It is the #2 participant sport in the country. Did you know that? The shooting sports, #2, behind only exercise and ahead of golf. And golf is on the front page of the newspaper a lot. They talk about shootings because they don't want to talk about murder. Murder is a crime, a real serious crime. Mass murder is an order of magnitude worse, and they do not talk about mass murder, they talk about mass shootings. So they denigrate shooting as an honorable thing. We should all go shooting, we should take people shooting, we should learn about shooting. So they talk about shootings, and they've gotten to the point where a nice guy like Sheriff Joe will talk about shootings. Those are murders, and mass murders, and spree killing. We have to watch our language. And I'll talk about this in a moment. After our last speaker, or I can't say best because they're all great. And speaking of which, did you convince your wife to join the NRA?
I thought that she had a 380, and I told her if you could do more better store than that, I would have.
Oh, come on.
Go like 27.
A 9mm.
Yeah, she's dead shot. She went along.
I'm sure she is, but you didn't tell her who. But you did tell her to join the NRA. I knew a guy who was shot with a 9mm twice, but he was wearing a t-shirt, so he wasn't hurt. That's for us 1911 guys. A gun dealer, a gold dealer, an auctioneer, a radio talk show host, a human and civil rights advocate, and in the dictionary next to Live Wire, they have this woman's picture. Help me welcome Cheryl Todd.
That has to be the best ever introduction I've gotten. I love you, Alan. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today, for inviting me here today, this amazing lunch. Let's give it up to the chefs. It's just a really delicious meal. The opportunity to be in a room full of passionate constitutional patriots, such as this room is filled with, is such an honor for me. And I'm so excited to be here today to talk to you a little bit about women and guns. It's kind of like the hot topic, right? And so, yeah. So there's a lot of we females who have stepped forward. A lot of us have just always been there, but I think we've become more vocal and more visible as of late. And so when I was thinking about what I wanted to share with everyone today pertaining to women and guns, I ran across an interesting article. The title won't immediately make sense to you, but it's okay. I'll get you there. It's titled, DNA Proves That Viking Women Were Powerful Warriors.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, right? So, just for a second, like, who were the Vikings? Were they the good guys with the sword, or were they the pirates?
Yeah.
Depends on who was telling the story, and I don't think we made up fake news in this particular century. So, I digress. So the article goes on to say that an elaborate Viking-age grave in Sweden holds the remains of a decorated female warrior from the 10th century, providing the first archaeological evidence that women held high-status positions in Viking culture. This remarkable find used DNA analysis of the skeleton to confirm that the individual was a woman, older than 30 years old, and stood about 5 foot 5 inches tall. So basically, me. Right? So several weapons were found buried with the body, including a sword, armor-piercing arrows, a battle axe, a spear, 2 shields, and even 2 horses. That indicated that the person buried was a high-ranking combatant who was knowledgeable of strategies and tactics. And I thought to myself, well, duh, right? Because I know some amazing, strong, strategic-minded women, and I know that every one of you out there do as well. So what's interesting, though, is that the article is noteworthy, and the archaeological find is noteworthy simply because the remains are female. If the remains had been male, they would have talked about the implements of battle that was buried with the man and how they were formed and that sort of thing. And I just wondered, why are we always so surprised when we stop to notice how powerful the feminine side of our natures are? Well, all of this made me stop for a moment and think about my grave, which hopefully will be a very long time from now. But at some point, if archaeologists discover my grave, I wonder what story my life will tell. When all that is left behind are the tools of battle that I used to protect myself and others, did I use those tools with skill? Did I ever hesitate to engage in decisive battles? Who was I fighting for? And what will history say of the time that I spent walking on this earth and breathing the air that God placed in my lungs? One of my greatest strengths is actually how ordinary I am, really. I am any woman. I am that 5'5" tall, over 30 woman, just like Our Lady Viking. I am a wife of 33 years. I'm a business owner, a mom, and a grandma. This ordinariness is empowering to other women who are part of this almost secret sisterhood of patriots. And it is terrifying to those whose life mission it is to put us under the thumb of tyranny and big government. The Rights-Restrictors want to have a clearly defined caricature, right? They want all of us gun owners to be, kind of slow talking and southern accented, camo wearing, over 50 bearded dudes.
Yeah.
Bubba. And there is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Some of the finest people I have ever known are exactly that, and I am proud of who they are, and I am proud of what they've taught me. But I am not that, right? I don't fit the mold of the progressive politicians' making. And quite frankly, they don't know what to do with all of the people, the men and the women who are so ordinary like me. So when I read the article about the Viking warrior woman, I kind of wanted to picture her wearing polka dots on a pretty Sunday dress, right? Her opponents would have sized her 5'5" frame up as having no real threat to them, and her sweet smile would have confused them just long enough for her to have out-strategized them, outflanked them, and raised up a crop of children just like her. Ordinary warriors fighting extraordinary battles, not even for ourselves, but for those who came before and those yet to come. So among my implements of battle, future archaeologists will find my battle flag of legacy, protecting and preserving the rights and values that were passed along to me by previous generations, being a good steward of history and instilling the passion for patriotism that was in my fellow warrior women and men who fight for the downtrodden and push back the line of tyranny and those who would place their thumbs over our heads and their hands over our mouths. Ordinary warriors, wearing pretty polka dot dresses, minds sharp with knowledge, tongues quick with wisdom. We, my friends, are these ordinary warriors. Ordinary. Ordinary?
Extraordinary.
Ordinary warriors. And we are terrifying to our opponents. Thank you.
This is an Amazon. This is not any ordinary woman. That was great. That was great. Yes? Bob wants me to let you know a very subtle fact that you will not get on CNN or MSNBC or ABC or NBC, where you will see BS. The NRA is now approaching 6 million members.